Well, welcome. I'm excited to see who's going to join us tonight for this episode of Soul Chats with me, psychic medium Dani Jo. And we have special guest, one of my favorite people, intuitive healer, Brooke Butler tonight. So welcome, Brooke.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Just a quick note, if you are joining us, say hello, but if you don't give them permission, we won't know who you are. So I will try to watch also on my live page so we know who's watching with us. Looks like Tiffany Paul and Karen and Sophie and Corey and nice handful of ladies are with us tonight. So let's just start with the obvious. How did we meet?
I can't really recall. I think it was like 22 years ago. Yeah.
Fair enough. I remember that day well. I remember that day very well. So for those of you watching and for those of you who don't know, Brooke is actually my beautiful daughter. Things you don't know about her: she is an IVF baby. So she was our third round of IVF. And I get the pleasure of working with this gorgeous lady every day. So tell us maybe just a little bit about yourself, things that people wouldn't know about you. Just some basics.
Yeah, so obviously I have known my mom my whole life, so it's been amazing having her on my journey. Just to say that, just a little bit, right? Yeah, and I beat everyone out. I've known her the longest. Okay, guys, you can't beat me. No, but about me, I have a huge love of animals, love all things crafty and spiritual. I've been on my spiritual journey for maybe like 7 years or so now. It was pretty cool. Me and my mom had our spiritual awakenings in like a similar amount of time, which was really kind of a fun thing to share together. Love doing tarot cards. Energy healing has been new to me. Making spiritual jewelry. All of the like witchcraft stuff is a huge passion of mine, spell jars and the like. But yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Couple of things I'll add. We have quite a few viewers watching. Everybody's saying hello to you.
Hey, everyone.
So a couple of just side notes. Brooke was born into this world a very old soul. She talked full sentences like an adult at 15 months, and she ruled the world, the roost, like as the boss, and she's still the boss. So it's kind of funny that she came into the world that way. I remember when my spiritual awakening was happening, and yours was too, that I had said to you something about us working together someday. And I'm pretty sure I got the eye roll at that time. But I'm actually super blessed that we finally got that opportunity because I couldn't imagine doing this path with anybody else. So for those of you that don't know, Brooke is our resident guru, shop manager, personal assistant. She does everything for Sacred Soul and psychic medium Dani Jo, with some help from the employees that we have. But she is the backbone behind all of that. So tell us how that's gone for you. You've been working for Sacred Soul for maybe 4 years now? 3 years?
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to 4 now. That has been amazing. Just crazy how much it's grown in the time that I've been working here. Because I remember, when I first started, it's just such a stark difference. Like, oh, what'll I do today? Oh, maybe I'll make some soap. Oh, maybe I'll do this and that. And now it's like hustle mode 24/7, got to get all this stuff done. But that has been super awesome. I love working with the stones, and I absolutely love helping people at the store in general, whether that's booking appointments or just guiding them to the right stones or whatever else they may need. So I've really enjoyed that a lot.
Cool. Someone called you Corey called you the Crystal Master.
I'll take that title.
So actually, let's talk about that, because even I have a lot of knowledge of crystals. You seem to continue to impress me with your knowledge of and ability to identify even the most random crystals that don't typically look like themselves. So tell us a little bit why that comes easy to you, or how you've kind of mastered that.
Yeah, actually, that's a great subject to talk about. Also, just my experience should not make anyone else feel disheartened. The reason why I am so good with this is because I am working with the stones 24/7, obviously, with my work. And then also, every time a new crystal comes in, I'm, working with it. A lot of the times I'm the one pricing it and stuff. So having that has been a huge advantage to learning the different things. And whenever a new stone comes in, I, of course, am doing a bit of research on it so that I can make like the information cards and stuff. So that's kind of what my one weird skill in life is, like retaining that knowledge. I don't know how I do that part. But yeah, that's why I'm able to do so well with the different crystals, is just being around them so often, definitely.
Very cool. Somebody, Clancy said you're a crystal dictionary. I would say yes, Brooke is a crystal dictionary for sure. But like she said, she's had her hands in the stones and had to look up things so often that it just comes so easy to you now. Yeah. Just like anybody who does something on a daily basis, it's going to come more familiar. So kind of tell everybody a little bit about, I'm not even sure I know this answer. What kind of started you on spirituality, or what kind of pushed you in that direction?
Yeah, so to be honest, it was kind of a weird thing. I've always like collected crystals, just as like a kid and stuff. And I remember like I was at Reptile Gardens and I was buying crystals, and I was like, I can't remember if I had a question or something, but I looked one of them up, and then I see metaphysical properties of this stone. I'm like, what in the world is that? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, holy cow, I just like opened a whole new dimension in my life. And I just got super into that. And of course, that was just a rabbit hole of all the other spiritual things. So yeah.
That's cool. So your specialties are the things that you enjoy most. We all know you're a master at crystals, but you talked about like witchcraft and that kind of work. So for people who wouldn't be familiar with that, tell them what that involves or why you find interest in it.
Yeah, so for me, witchcraft is basically having different things that have energy and kind of working with them to work towards a specific desire. And I really enjoy that just because it's something that I've always been drawn to. But it's similar to crystals, where crystals have metaphysical properties, but let's say like herbs and different symbols also have properties as well. And putting those different things together for a certain purpose is a form of witchcraft. And I have always really enjoyed that as well. And that's another way, to help people and to help yourself is through witchcraft. I specifically really like doing spell jars, because that's something that's very tangible, something that you can hold and keep in mind, and also something that you can do for others as well, and for any purpose, whether that be protection or whatever else. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know when you first came to the store, some of the things that I would ask you to help with, because I know you weren't ready to really do services or anything at that time. But the spell jars were something that was something you were very confident in and really helped a
Yes.
lot of our clients. So that's been amazing. And it's still something that you do currently,
Right.
which is awesome. And I think it's kind of crazy because witchcraft gets a bad name just because of the connotation of it. But you gave a great example that it's, using natural and healing things to help help yourself or other people.
Exactly.
Cool fun fact. I don't know if you know this, but Nana, your grandmother, my mom, was a white witch. And
I think you've told me that before. Yeah, not much about it, but
yes, she quit practicing witchcraft because of something that happened, which I have written in my new book for those of you that are waiting for that to come out. But yeah, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, like Mo likes to say.
definitely.
Um, so one of the things that's kind of cool for your work or where you may go in life too is that you've always had a very strong connection with animals, actually almost crazily so. Like you wanted all the animals when you were a child, and even so much so that we had to bring home the caterpillar that we found in the Christmas greens at the flower shop because he had to be our pet. But cats and birds probably tend to be your, I'm guessing, favorites, but tell us a little bit about that, your connection with animals.
Yeah, I guess I've just always had a huge connection with animals. I think it must be a spiritual thing that I'm drawn to about them because I just like it's like we're talking without words. Like I just feel so connected with them and just their companionship and also to help them, I feel like is something that brings me a lot of joy. Animals are basically like a child, in my opinion, because they need your help, and they can't express their needs sometimes, through words, but spiritually, I definitely am extremely connected to animals, and I feel like having them around is just a huge help to me in my personal life. I don't really do much spiritually with animals other than, have that connection at this point, anyways. But yes, I have always had a huge connection with animals.
Well, I know I knew that you always had a strong connection with animals. I mean, when you were 5, you had like 50 stuffed animal cats that we had to have in your
Yeah.
bed. You had to know where they all were. It was so important to you. And if anybody was ever mean to animals, it was so hard for you to understand that. Or
That's true. I think just because I'm so, empathic, especially with animals, that was super hard as a child growing up. So,
and even though you don't work with them now, there have been many instances where we had the client bring in the puppy that was almost dead. And you worked with that animal, and you've done a little bit of intuitive work and healing work with some other clients' animals.
yeah, definitely. Even before I, was doing Reiki training, I just, everyone can do energy healing in some capacity. So I've definitely worked with animals in that way. And I do that a lot in my own personal home on my animals when I feel like they need it. So,
So tell us about all the animals you have in your home.
oh, yeah. So right now I have 3 chickens. They are very rowdy. I have 2 cats and then a parrot. So yes, 2 cats and then 4 birds.
And she's not kidding. Those chickens are rowdy. One of them is not nice. I
She
saw an
just
arm.
she just thinks she's the boss,
I wonder where she gets that from.
right?
Um, so I also wanted to touch base just a little bit on a crazy experience that happened to you when you were a teenager that was really pretty much a near-death experience. I think there's probably a lot of people who have never heard this story. So share with us what you remember about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of a crazy experience, at least, in my mind. We were out at Pactola Lake, which a lot of you that are local are probably familiar with the cliff there that people like to jump. And we had done it before, so I, knew that I could do it. On that day, it was really weird though. I had like a weird feeling that like I shouldn't. I was really scared when I hadn't been scared before. Um, which is where it all went wrong because I was scared, so I just did it and I didn't look properly. So I hit my right side of the body on some rocks and I broke 3 bones in my foot and then had a hematoma or whatever you call that, a blood bleed in my leg, and then broke my tailbone as well, which was crazy. In the moment, it didn't even feel like anything, but it was really weird. When I fell into the water, I saw like a white light. I'm not sure if that was like my guardian angels protecting me. That's what I would assume. But yeah, it was a really crazy day.
Yes, it absolutely was. I think sometimes those moments also give us more clarity on like realizing we have more to do here. For me, my side of that, the story was a little more terrifying. I remember Brooke jumping off the boat and quickly climbing up the cliff. We hadn't even anchored the boat yet. Hunter and his good friend were on the boat still, and all of a sudden I heard screaming, and I looked for Brooke and couldn't find her. I looked for you and couldn't find you, and instantly I knew you were already in the water and something was wrong. So I grabbed a life vest and tried to swim. And thankfully, a paramedic was in the water and he was the first one to you and was pulling you away from me, which got me even more upset because I was so exhausted by the time I was almost there. It was like panic mode. But the one thing that I'll take away from that day, it was all so surreal and it just happened so fast, is you were laying in the boat and we had pulled up to the dock and they had the ambulance there, but they were trying to get the helicopter to come, but they couldn't get it up in the air because the weather wasn't the best. And the paramedic was leaning over you and you said, "You smell good."
Yeah. That's like the one thing I remember because it was so like shocking and traumatic. I don't even remember like screaming or much of anything really, but I do remember saying that. And he said something like, "Oh, I'm married" or something. I'm like a 14-year-old. I am in a traumatic situation. My brain is not even right, man.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
The bummer about that too was that was a time in life when you had a horse, which was one of your probably all-time favorite animals, but you had to give her up because you couldn't ride anymore.
Yeah, and I think that it just wasn't meant to be with the horse. That was amazing though, and I would love to have horses again, like another time in my life. I honestly believe that horses are one of like the most spiritually connected animals in the world. They are so smart and their intuition is so strong.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we know that you work at Sacred Soul and you run and manage the shop, and you run and manage me. And we're super grateful to have you there. And I hope that you're going to continue growing your own side gig or side work as well, or maybe it'll be through the store. But in the last year or so, you actually opened your own page up. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that's been super fun. I believe it was around April or somewhere in the spring there that I first started getting going with that. But it's called Lotus Moon Retail and Readings. I offer card readings and energy healing sessions virtually, and then also have been doing different like spiritual jewelry, wire wrapped crystals, and stuff like that, as well as offering spell jars as well. So that has been super fun. A huge blessing in my life to have the opportunity to do that, and then also to have people supporting me. It's been super exciting, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
That's cool. So tell them where they can find you and how they can, what kind of products and merchandise you might have available on your site, on your page.
Yeah, so right now I don't have a website or anything. I'm just operating through Facebook. So looking me up by that name, Lotus Moon Retail and Readings, is going to be the best place to find me. Um, on that page, you are able to actually book sessions for cards and energy healing. For spell jars, I do have a couple options up for booking, but if there's something specific that you're needing, or if you have any questions, just message the page. Right now, I need to get back on posting my merchandise, but I do have a couple necklaces and earrings up for sale right now. But if you're curious about what I have in stock, just reach out. And yeah.
Nice. And do you have other, like if people wanted to ask about custom jewelry or custom like spell work, could they just reach out to you for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just message for sure. Right now I'm mostly doing like the couple of wire wrap designs that I have, but I would absolutely love to work with you to do any specific stones or specific designs. I would absolutely love to do that. That's been something that I've really enjoyed too, is working with the different crystals to make that jewelry. Just because I, have that knowledge. So it's been fun to be able to share it in that way too. So
nice.
yeah.
I have to share with everybody a cool story. So a few years back, Brooke and I had the need to set up a protection grid. And so we did that. I can't remember. I think it was in our home. And later that day, we went to Rapid and we were going to see a friend who is also very intuitive. And her and I were walking into the room where he was at, and he was walking towards us. And about 8 feet from us, he put his hand up, and we both kind of stopped, kind of shocked. And he goes, "Whoa, you have some serious protection around you today." And it blew my mind. That was when it really solidified for me what the crystals do and how powerful they are. And you and I setting up that crystal grid and someone else being able to feel it was so amazing. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was really awesome.
Yeah, that was so intense. Tell us how you came to be a member of Black Hills Paranormal Investigations.
Oh yeah, that was pretty recent that I ended up joining them, but that of course was super fun. Of course, I had joined you as a guest a couple times on their investigations, which was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. I've always been really drawn to paranormal investigation in general, which has been a blast working with the team. But yeah, that's basically how I joined, because I have you as my connection in.
What do you enjoy about the investigating? Is there something that you really enjoy in that work?
Oh yeah, I just think it's really fun, honestly, but also there's a lot of times that spirit may need help, or the people with spirit in their home may need help. And that's the real reason that I would say that I love doing this, to either help spirits who need it to be crossed over, to close portals if it's needed, to help people come to terms with what's going on in their home. That is definitely the best part of the paranormal investigating for me.
Tell us what, I was laughing because I was thinking about, I want you to tell us what one of your favorite paranormal things that's happened to you, but just so you guys have a funny story that Brooke probably won't remember. Well, she does, but it won't be a fun story for her. She was kind of like, what is wrong with you? Not that long ago, a few months back, we went to investigate in a cave, and Brooke and I were in this one sectioned off area. And we were all by ourselves. And I can't remember how it started, but I started getting freaked out, and I could hear a bat or something, and she's like, I don't hear it. Well, then all of a sudden something hit my knee and it made a buzzing sound like a bee. And I started freaking out, and it's pitch black, and Brooke's like, what is wrong with you? What? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what it was. Something ran into my leg. Oh, and I can't see. And she's like, calm down. And I'm like, I can't. I don't know what it is. Well, we pretty much determined that we think the bat might have ran into my leg. Because then a couple of minutes later, after we calmed down, the bat actually, we could start hearing the bat coming closer and closer. But, and then the funnier thing was we had a recorder going. So we got to listen back to all of that chaos and freak out, which is funny because you would think that I would never get freaked out, but I'm probably the one that gets the worst.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That moment was so bad. It's like we were in the smallest little outcropping of the cave. I'm like, she's either having a mental break or she's possessed. Like, she's gonna freaking kill us all or something. It was so bad. I literally thought you were like having an episode or something.
It was like we could have got up and ran out. Like, you couldn't really hardly move.
Yeah, it was really bad. Oh God, but it was okay. We were all fine.
But even just the tone of your voice, what? Like,
yeah, I was like so distressed. Oh God.
But other than that, tell us one of your funniest or scariest moments, maybe. Scary mom.
Yeah. I gotta think for a second.
While you're thinking about that, I'll tell them what we're doing this weekend.
Okay.
We actually get the opportunity to take a group on a ghost hunting retreat, which this will be our second one, I believe, maybe even third, actually. And so we're going to go to the Occidental Hotel in Buffalo, Wyoming. And we have a very special guest, Mo, our team leader for BHPI, is going to go with us. And we're going to have a great time this weekend. Lots of equipment, lots of activity, I'm sure.
Definitely. I will just share maybe like my top 3. There has been so many different pieces of evidence collected and things that are just amazing. I think the only time I've ever been scared on an investigation is in the cave with you. So it doesn't really get that scary for me just because I have a good understanding of what's going on, you know, and what's causing different things. But probably one of my favorite things would be at our investigation this spring at the Adams house. In the parlor, we were, just looking for anyone that was there. And it turns out Seth Bullock was around, and he communicated with me on the dowsing rods and the flashlight, basically in sync and for around like 5 minutes straight. Having 2 pieces of equipment working together like that super consistently was super cool. So I really loved that. And then my 2 other things that I really liked were when we recently did the ghost retreat in Bowdle. That one was really special. We had a lot of crazy stuff happening. But my 2 takeaways from that were we had a candle lit in one of the rooms, and that candle was actually physically blown out, which is a huge sign for me. Like, that for them to do that is extremely, like, a lot of energy exerted. So that was really special. And then we were also using the paranormal music box on that retreat, and getting extremely consistent answers for yes and no questions, which was really cool too. So those are
Nice.
some of my favorites.
That is cool. The candle thing, I'll never forget. You were so excited. And for everyone who's listening, you might think, oh, well, candles can just get blown out. But this was in a small bedroom with the door closed, with just a handful of people, maybe 3 or 4, all sitting. No one's moving around. And Brooke asked for them to blow the candle out, and they did.
Yes.
So that was pretty amazing.
Definitely.
Are you excited about this weekend? Do you think we're going to have a lot of activity?
I am really excited for this weekend. Just judging on what you have said, I think we'll have a lot of activity. And then also, just when I think about it and kind of, get a vibe, I think it's going to be a really active weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. This is probably not off subject, but not really pertaining to spiritual work. Well, I mean, it is. It's still the paranormal. If you could go anywhere, in any haunted, famous place, do you know where it would be?
Oh man, so I'm glad because me and Mo just talked about this, so
Ooh.
it's fresh in my mind. One thing that I'm really sad that I never got to see that pertains to that is I would have really loved to see Ed and Lorraine Warren's paranormal museum. It's still possible someday that they would reopen that. I actually did see that when they do their paranormal convention in Connecticut, they have the Annabelle doll on display for everyone to see, which I just think that would be interesting to see, crazy to see. But an actual location, I think I would really like to go to Dracula's castle. I don't remember. I think it's maybe in Romania. That would be absolutely insane.
I'm not going with you. I am not going with you.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Dracula was a real guy, not just, the vampire, and he was absolutely wild in his ways of like torturing people and war and murder, and just the amount of activity that would be in there would be almost too much to like live through. So I just think it would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments. Tom said he'll go with you.
Oh God.
Nina asked us if we watched 28 Days on Netflix. Haven't watched it. I'm actually going to start watching it tonight just to kind of check it out. I don't think Brooks watched it either. I was just going to add that I think there's a lot of places that I think would be fun to go to, and probably a lot of them we don't even know about. The one thing that always kind of stands out to me is the Stanley Hotel. I think just because it was in the movie, and whatnot, I think that would be kind of cool. I also think some of the prisons or insane asylums would have a lot of energy, but also a little unnerving, I think. So
yeah, go to Alcatraz or somewhere like that.
Yes. That's funny. Nina said her puppy growled in the first episode at the TV.
Oh, wow. So is it like an investigation show?
So Ed and Lorraine Warren used to say that you had to be in a place for 28 days to get to know all the activity and the spirits.
Right.
So they put these people in a place for 28 days.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to watch that too.
Yeah, I'm going to start watching it tonight. Judy said she went to the Barbie Hotel in Warsaw, Indiana. I've not heard of that one. Yeah, nice. we should go to the Stanley Hotel as a group. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
3 places, 1 in Denver. You'll have to tell me. Oh, 3. They went to 3 places for the 28 days. I got you. Also, if anybody has any questions for Brooke, feel free to post them in the comments, and we'll definitely answer questions for you. Yes, I have been in the Franklin Hotel. We've done several places up in Deadwood. Brooke hasn't been to many because she hasn't been on the team that long, but we've been to a few.
Yeah, I think the Adams House and then the brothels are going to be the only places I've been to so far.
Yes, and I think we've done with the team. I've done at least 3 other hotels up in Deadwood. But I'm terrible with like storing that information, so I couldn't tell you. I know Franklin is
Right.
one of them. And then there's 2 more, but I can't think of the names. Um, I wanna show people a couple of things that you do that is cool, or talk about that. Also, one of the things that I don't think people know is that you have extremely strong spiritual gifts. And whether you choose to use those in this lifetime for doing lots of different things is totally up to you. Um, Fairmont and Bullock, maybe that's it, Judy. I'm not sure. But if I go somewhere that is a little unnerving or where I need protection, Brooke is like my security blanket. And a lot of you probably don't know that. She would be the person that I would prefer to have by my side because the knowledge that she has in Wiccan and witchcraft and pagan beliefs and all of the stuff that she brings to that is truly a blessing for me because I don't study all of that. And I have actually called you on many occasions when I needed you. And I'm writing that all down in my book. And I'm realizing how often that I've had to or needed to reach out to you. I was in Iowa doing the most profound exorcism that was the most terrifying experience I had ever been in. And I had to call you. And what you gave me to do worked like a charm. In the what was the other one I was going to say? I mean, there's so many. There's so many. Is there one that stands out to you? Oh, I was going to say this. So when I was still doing the work here at the house and I was seeing clients upstairs in that extra bedroom, I was working on a client who had an attachment that was extremely powerful and you just happened to stop by.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a divine timing type of thing.
Yes. And so like spirit knows like how to make that happen. But yeah, you and I have gotten to work together on some pretty amazing cases and with some clients that we've been able to help greatly. And so I've really, really enjoyed that part of our connection.
Me too, actually. That's something that I don't chat that often about, but it's something I'm definitely passionate about is helping to cleanse homes and help clients with that kind of stuff. And I do feel like having that witchcraft basis can be so useful that for that kind of stuff. Because spiritual symbols and just knowing the words to say and knowing how to exert and build energy in that way can be super powerful and helpful too. So yeah, it's been a huge pleasure to help you with that kind of stuff.
Well, I feel the same way. Um, Charlotte also said Bullock Hotel. That's one of them. And Nina said, do you think that it's a family gift that you were both passed down?
Honestly, I do think that. I believe that anyone can have a spiritual nature, anyone can do mediumship, anyone can be a witch, anyone can do any of that kind of stuff. But I honestly think that sometimes people do have gifts that are passed down, and that there is a connection between like the family line, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially with our spiritual awakening happening at the same time, I just feel like that is not a coincidence. So,
No, it's definitely not. And Cheryl said closing portals. Um,
yes.
Ashley said, how lucky she's your daughter. And I say, how lucky I'm her mom. And we're lucky to have
Absolutely.
each other.
Yes.
Uh, we got the comments that we're gifted and amazing together, special people. Kathy said yin and yang to each other. And I will
Oh,
tell
that's a good
you,
way.
That's 100% us. If I'm freaking out, Brooke is the calm one. And if Brooke is freaking out, I'm the one to ground her. And it is absolutely yin yang energy.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool, Clancy. The Bullock Hotel was on Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, wow.
And lots of people have seen and experienced Seth. Judy, your granddaughter probably did get her abilities from you. Like we were talking about, it does oftentimes run down in families like that. I wanted to say something else. Oh, there's Miss Honey.
Yeah, Oakley came in and opened the door, so now you can hear Honey.
Yes, yes. We have not been to I have not been to the Alex Johnson Hotel in Rapid. Brooke has stayed there, but we've never investigated there.
I've actually never stayed there.
Oh, but you've been in it, right?
I went in there one time just to see, you know, how it feels, and I can definitely see why it's haunted.
Yeah, for sure. You know, honestly, when you and I work together and we get to do things like clearing people's homes and helping them with that stuff, I feel my most complete in my life. Like that is a huge purpose.
I agree.
And one of the cool, God, I keep getting a story in my head and I keep losing it. One of the coolest things that happened was in the last year or so, I haven't worked much with people coming to me and having dark energies. Like there has been no energy removals. It's been extremely quiet on that front. And you and I were driving home from somewhere. I don't remember where, just in the last couple of months. And I said to you, I was reading a book and I said, there's going to be a dark energy case when we get home. And then when we got home, there was 3. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yes. And I was reading a book about Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So crazy how they I think because I had put my book away for a bit, it kind of slowed down and then started again. Nina said her friend had her wedding ring taken off her hand in the middle of the night at the Franklin. They searched the entire room and couldn't find it. She still had the mark on her finger where the ring was when she woke up.
That's crazy.
That's really crazy. And then Cheryl said, my grandma, my dad, and I, and Felicia, hopefully little one will be coming. Little one coming will be too. Oh, all in her family. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I want to show you guys something that is one of Brooke's superpowers. She probably thinks that it's not, but it is. I was going to show you from my own deck of cards, but I don't have one here. So Brooke is a phenomenal card reader, and she has this fabulous way of shuffling cards and they just pop out of the deck. And it does not matter how many times I try to shuffle like you, it does not happen for me. So show them how easy it comes to you.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people, when they use cards, they will just like pick one that they feel is right, or they'll split the deck. But when I first was getting started with cards, that honestly never really was what felt right to me. So I was like just playing with the cards and trying to figure out different ways to shuffle. And this just is what has felt right and what I've done ever since. I'll just pull a brief message for the group here too, but I'll hold my cards up so you can see. So just do my typical intention with that. And then I am asking for a card for the group watching, something they need to hear. And then you can see it's just popped right up. Sometimes it pops up really high and sometimes not, but
I could be shuffling all night. Yes.
But yeah, this deck is really cool. It's all different divine feathers and whatnot. This is the magpie, and the message for the group is it's time to reevaluate your priorities, let go of what you no longer need in life, and move towards your divine path. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. And how easy was that for you? Oh, Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous that you can do that and I cannot. Just not the way I can do it. It's like when someone can whistle and you can't whistle and you're like, I'm gonna keep trying, but it is not coming to me.
Right.
So let's see. Anybody else have questions for Brooke? Judy said she stayed on a floor that nobody was on and she thought she had neighbors. She heard people opening doors, talking, walking around. And when she checked out, she mentioned it and they looked at the floor looked at her like she was crazy because there was nobody else on the floor.
Oh, wow.
That was at the Alex Johnson.
Crazy.
Yes. Great message, they said. And Clancy said she just saw a magpie. So,
oh, cool.
Yes, validation there.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions for Brooke, feel free to post them in there. Gail asked if we had any, if either of us had any thoughts on the Serenity Denard case. So it's a missing persons case. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Okay, that is super weird. So you know how I did that investigation recently, right? Just like in my own personal time. We drove past the exact spot that she was lost, and like that was less than a week ago.
Weird that somebody just asked you that.
Yeah, super weird.
But you've never done any work on it, right?
I haven't, no.
That's about it, yeah. For me, Gail, when that happened, I had a lot of people reach out, but when we live in an area where the case is very prominent, it's extremely hard to go into a session to try to focus on it without being front loaded, which means we've read or heard information that is going to skew, mess our brain up. It's going to mess up the information that we should be able to receive. So anytime you're front loaded, you're not going to be a good person to work on a case. And we're local to the area, so it's not going to be good for us. I have taken some psychic detective training, and what I've learned is that you have to go into something without knowing anything about it to be able to be effective in that case. And it's not easy, or there wouldn't be missing people. So if it was an easy thing to do, everybody would be able to find the missing people and cases would be solved. So just not something that I focus on much currently, but I am doing some training for it. And Brooke was in that area, but hasn't really felt into the case much.
Yeah, I haven't. It's such a hard thing. That's probably one of the like hardest skills spiritually that you could probably ever learn, just because of all those different factors. So I haven't worked much towards that either. So
yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to tell everybody?
I don't know. I think we did a great little thing here and talked about a lot of different things.
We did. So just go back over just some of your offerings again, just for those who might have missed that previously. And you can go check out her Facebook page tonight and see if she has any openings if you're interested. I know some of our regular clients have come to you for some sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now on my page, Lotus Moon Retail and Readings, I believe the 3 spiritual services I'm offering are energy healing, I'm offering a 10-card spread, and then I believe a dragon message card, which is kind of fun. See what dragon wants to work with you. I'm offering a couple different spell jar options, as well as custom, and then lots of different fun spiritual jewelry, as well as custom jewelry we could definitely look into. But yeah. That's
Cool.
where to check me out. Be sure to follow, just because I'll be coming up with all sorts of different things as I have time on the side. So yeah.
And Sacred Soul will be carrying some of your merchandise.
Yeah, pretty soon here. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Also, for those of you that aren't big into dragons, The dragons are very powerful creatures for us to work with, and they have great messages. I had a dragon reading with you that was actually a phenomenal reading. So her price on the dragon reading is actually really reasonable. Give it a try. All of her prices are reasonable. She's a fabulous and worth every penny healer too. So check her out. Gail or Nina asked if you get an immediate sense of something when you walk into a location.
For me, I do a lot of like protection work and wear a lot of protection crystals. So a lot of the times I am able to stay closed off and guarded, and that's not in the forefront of my mind personally. There have been times if it's like extremely heavy, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? If I specifically open myself up and try to tune into that, definitely get feelings. But most of the time I am closed off until I intend to be open.
And for those of you that are wondering, that's my exact answer as well. People who are in tune with this all the time don't want to be open all the time. So we stay closed down and protected more often than not. But same with me. If I go into a location because I have to walk it to pick up on energy, then I'm open. But if not, I'm closed down also.
Definitely. It's important too, because, you don't know what you're going into. So having that protection up more often than not is really important for your spiritual health in general.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Lynn Vanda Hay asked, does Halloween affect you?
So that is a great question. I try to pretend it does not, but it definitely does. I always try to be like, oh, I'm not sure if that's really a thing. Like, is that really true? But it honestly is for me. I definitely feel like whether you want to call it the veil or whatever, there's definitely a lot more spiritual power just during this time, whether that be for your own spiritual workings, spirits or ghosts around you, or whatever else. So
very cool.
Yeah, that brings up kind of a funny story from recently when I was working at the shop just like maybe 2 days ago. I was checking him out at the counter. He's like, "Oh, that's so cute. You have a cat in here?" Or he said something like that. He's like, "Oh, do you guys have a cat?" I'm like, "No, why do you say that?" He's like, "I just saw a cat run back there." I'm like, "Oh." We do not have a cat, but there's something back there for sure. So,
That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I feel like the shop activity has amped up in the last few weeks for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. Judy said she's cleaned houses that had spirits that messed with her and heavy feelings while she's been in locations. So,
yeah.
Very cool. Well, any final questions before we let her go? So Nina has a question. She wants to know if you believe that most of the mediums on TV are real, like Teresa Caputo.
That's a good question. For me personally, I honestly think that a lot of them are real. This is how they were able to get to this place is through their true intentions and working hard, like Teresa Caputo, and then there's a couple of male mediums on TV that are really good as well. Of course, there's probably a couple of frauds. I feel like you're more likely to find that just in general life rather than on TV, though. Maybe they ham it up a little for the TV or whatnot, but I do think that they genuinely are mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Brooke. I think that they on TV only show all the good, perfect parts of something. But yeah, there are mediums out there giving us a bad name, but for the most part, there's a lot of good ones out there too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's important just, do your research if you're going to have a reading, read reviews, talk with this person, go to someone you know has been to, things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you guys, it has been a pleasure having you with us. And I truly want you to know it was a pleasure having you on the Soul Chats episode. So thank you for joining me tonight. And I can't wait to see where your work goes. And although you always have to stay with me, even if we have to get an assistant that works for both of us.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
But truly grateful for you. Love you, appreciate you. And thank you all for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow at work.
Sounds good. Yeah. Love you. And thank you for having me on. And thanks to everyone who took the time to watch the podcast. You're all very appreciated.
Absolutely. And don't forget that you can download these podcasts and re-listen to them as well.
Yes.
Brooke has been sharing where those are available. So
definitely.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes. See you.